Hello guys, this is Josh Dredd. Welcome to my super heavy shotgun guide preview. I'm going to show you the basic items, perks, passives, attributes, basically everything that is needed for this build to work, as it required a lot of testing on my part to actually achieve the highest efficiency possible with this build. Let's start with character. Obviously I will max my accuracy for the highest damage output, and that's pretty much it. You only put all attribute points into accuracy, just like in my heavy shotgun Zerg build, except that build is radical and this one is Puritan. For my perks, my three primary perks will be Stride of the Blessed for more move speed, Blessing of Sight Victorious is pretty much always here to not get one-shotted, and Zealous Displacement to allow me to spam teleport all the time. You need to unlock this perk first. And for 99 missions, you can always change to Caldewick for more damage output. I usually change the Stride of the Blessed because the teleport allows me to quickly move without Stride of the Blessed anyway. So let's look at my passives. Basically exactly the same passives as my Zerg Rage build. Range combat, 3 points for less reloading time, full area of FX3 except this one, physical attacks with this one node for more building duration, critical hits 3, everything here, and torment for more suppression damage, full venom and toxin mastery damage over time. This one is very strong, this toxin synergy, and this one is very strong. Gives me some tankiness when I'm applying poison on enemies. Hit attacks 3, those basic points just to allow my hit aura to burn targets and apply hit vulnerability. Suppression 3, just the main nodes for some damage reduction, some damage, some suppression resistance. Movement 3, those 6 points here for some cooldown reduction, cerebral feedback. And this buff is very important on this build. Mental Spur is pretty much 5% supreme critical hit chance all the time, because it's very rare situations when I actually take any damage, so this is up almost all the time. On the Puritan path I use those 2 points. I can't really use other points, even though they are actually very good. But those 2 are the most powerful points in that tree. 20% damage bonus against demons and demon engines, which are enemies that you face all the time. And some suppression and HP regeneration. It's a very nice combo. Then the defense T. Just those main nodes to unlock an reanimator glance. You can also reset this tree and just take entire debuff tree, but I prefer the defense tree because the debuff tree doesn't give me a lot damage. Not that it's a huge difference to have this one, but this makes a huge difference in survival, especially against dots, flame traps, Norgal champions, marines or something, and big hits. So I prefer this route. I have enough damage anyway. And that will be it for passives. Of course I have maxed my Puritan morality tree. So let's look at my items. I have Neural Implant and Rage Token on critical hit. Pretty much exactly the same as my radical version. I have the chance to reset Inoculator cooldown on kill in this one. Shock on vulnerability skill hit, so I at least apply the shock debuff somewhat. Loot quantity, damage bonus for every skills, Bloodlust. Of course I implant of Insanity because this is also a Zerg Rage build. and Berserk tokens on activity of massacre effect on Mining Blood with survival, blood dust, and accuracy. Supreme critical hit chance against slowed shock standard targets, loot quantity. Basically, very much the same stuff I use on my Zakrage build, except those few points. So I have also some survival. Courtesy of Trauma, because it's convenient, it always works, it's very good for pretty much any build in the game. And Personal Teleporter. Personal Teleporter with critical hit chance and critical strength per Berserk token is a must for this build, to spam those teleports and to have enough damage. Of course, effectiveness to bullet the debuffs on this one, more overall damage from all sources, suppression gain on hit, simply because I don't really have any suppression regeneration or anything, so this one is enough to fill my suppression up if it goes into lower values. If I lost suppression, I can gain max suppression in a few seconds because of this one, and 57% to fear effectiveness against suppression. Recently what I found is that fear is very effective against suppression bars, especially against elites on 99% penalty missions, like 118 level missions. So this is very good. My armor gives damage reduction, all resistances, also supreme critical chance against slowed shock stun targets, damage bonus against slowed shock stun targets, some loot quantity, triple projectile doctrine, the most powerful doctrine on shotgun, and from my inoculator I use the seasonal redemption. Those three enchants are the most important enchants on the inoculator. Of course, if I find an inoculator with more enchants, I would like to actually have like this one on inoculator, and then I can also use damage against bleeding or damage for knockback skills on the neuron. But for the time being, I'm stuck with this 4 enchant slot inoculators. I use accuracy, survival, and inoculator effect duration. Also some AoE damage shards and effectiveness ability debuffs, which is Anchorate of Psalm, of course, in all those accessory items for more damage for my burst shot, pretty much. For my signals, I use the red signal with chance to add a general vulnerability when the target gets a debuff effect. This combined with Purity Seal of Trauma means it will stack the general vulnerability to max stacks almost instantly, and those rolls are identical for both signals. Effectiveness to vulnerability debuffs, damage bonus for your skills, cooldown reduction for your skills, chance to fear on critical hit, and bonus loot quantity. The chance to fear is added compared to my Zakrage build because this is super powerful if you want to apply a lot of fear stacks per second, and that is achieved by critting. So this one melts suppression parts on 99 missions, allowing those passives, those slow and shock debuffs, to actually be stacked on heavy bosses on 99 penalty missions. And for my second signal, everything is the same except the mine enchant, which is damage bonus per Berserk token. Ideally you want to have 5% here, but 4% is also enough. It's not a huge difference. You always want to have 6 enchant items over 100 level 5 enchant items. One more enchant is always mostly better, except maybe weapon. I'm stuck with this shotgun for a while, but I'm not really hunting for a better shotgun, I'm just farming tarots, so I also have loot quantity on this shotgun, not some damage for burst shot, for example. For my weapon, I use only one weapon on this build. If you want to try those Puritan shotguns, well, I tried this shotgun damage bonus against demon and cultist enemies, and supreme critical hit chance. Both are worse in damage output compared to damage per debuff, the old good shotgun. That is still pretty much the best damage shotgun in the game. And I'm using exclusively only this shotgun in this build. I'm not using any explosion shotguns, any explosion doctrines or anything. Just this one shotgun. For this shotgun, the damage bonus for a debuff is very strong on this build, with the addition of fear, with those shocks that will actually be applied on bosses, and because of this, because I melt suppression bars very quickly. Of course, I rolled the effectiveness of the debuffs and damage bonus for your skills. Those two are very strong. Chance to poison on physical seal hit, pretty much on because I need to apply poison somehow to actually make use of this, because otherwise it will be useless. And bonus loot quantity. The roll on the weapon is very nice. It maxes at 50. And ammunition. Ammunition is very important to actually keep attacking for longer amounts of time. And the hit aura doctrine. The hit aura itself is always powerful on most, if not all, builds in the game. So of course I'm also using hit aura on this build. And I also use the Aegis Psalm and effectiveness double debuffs Psalm and Creator. So Phosphorenic, Technomancer, Neuralis Bingharic, and then Uncreator and Aegis. Just for that 1% shield drain, which means I will have shield charge on myself all the time. This is super good on my current Puritan build, because it's very rare that I actually take any damage. So when I actually do take damage, that stacked shield gets melted first before my HP bar. And then I'm invulnerable again if I kill something, so I have time to refill that shield charge. So effectively, just by using that one psalm, I have that shield charge, which is enough to kinda tank. It's not really a tanky build, it's more like immunity build. Not always immunity, but most of the time. So that's why I like the defense tree, because it helps in those situations when you actually don't have that invulnerability, because there are some windows, that brief moments when you actually lose that invulnerability because you're fighting like one enemy at a time without enemies around it, so you can actually get some damage, but most of the time you don't take any damage, no damage at all. That's why this passive is super good with this build. Okay, that's pretty much it, what I can say. I have one additional item, this eye implant of shattering, which is my support eye implant. I always use this eye implant of insanity to stack berserk tokens, but if you actually get those stacks, you can always switch to eye implant of shattering, some more damage output. I sometimes do it on supreme missions, if I feel the penalty is kinda hard, to increase my damage output. It's always that nice 90% damage bonus when everything is stacked. Some effectiveness to volume debuffs is always good. Well, this one is always also good. And I have this one for the loot quantity, because I like to change my item setup before opening supreme chests. So I have this set 2, which has a graph gun with loot quantity and loot quality, and signals with loot quality and loot quantity. And I just change to this setup before opening chests, and I can also just quickly change this implant to have more loot quantity. So let's play one mission with my normal farming setup. My normal farming setup is running those missions, mostly either at 108, 10 or 112, like here. And this is mostly a build to farm Uthers. At least I think farming Uthers is the most efficient way to actually play this build before actually you start to farm items, because this build doesn't require any like 100 level 6 slot items at all. Like random 90 level 5 slot items are okay. So I started the mission, activate inoculator, activate buzz shot, and then hold teleport burn. Simply hold it and aim it at the top of your screen pretty much. And it takes some time to use to it, because it's kinda buggy. It's sometimes, if you're stuck on an object, it can stop you in a place, but if you avoid getting stuck, as you can see, it's very fast way to actually move. Simply holding burst shot and holding that belt teleport skill. That's pretty much it. Holding two skills. You can also hold left click, because left click moves you when burst shot is on cooldown. That's pretty much how it works. And by teleporting and holding left click, you can also click that cogitator while holding F and doing this cogitator at the same time while teleporting and burst shotting around. So not much of an issue, really. Very convenient. And you need to remember to kill mobs, pretty much. Don't stand in one place for too long and without doing anything, because if someone focuses you, you will die after a few seconds, pretty much. Because we don't really have any sustain with this build. Not even HP on crit, not HP on hit, nothing. Just the basic attributes of the assassin. So all that keeps us alive is pretty much that armor, which I forgot to actually explain how it works. So let's look at my armor again. Yeah. Other than those enchants, the main enchant, the relic enchant, morality enchant, invulnerability on kill for 2 seconds, 8 second cooldown. The 8 seconds cooldown is non-existent in this build, because it seems like the cooldown itself gets reduced by either Neurophene or just critting enemies, so the cooldown doesn't really exist. You simply are invulnerable to damage after every kill for 2 seconds. And also I prefer to have this enchant on Fabricatus Distortion Armor for the temporal distortion field that completely disables bosses. Very useful for those heavy penalty missions like 99% less damage missions, because the bosses tank some damage there, so it's nice to actually lock them in one place for 5 seconds and just melt them to death. Okay, so let's do what I suggested before. My normal setup involves 3 Neurophines and 1 Friendzone. 3 Neurophines to spam teleport as much as possible, just because it's convenient. And when I'm running, you can also just run 2 Friendzones, 2 Neurophines, very versatile setup. This pretty much just works for everything, it's okay for everything pretty much. Or you can go for 3 Friendzones, but then your burst shot will have more delays between attacks, and you will have less teleports in exchange for much more damage. And as I said before, for 99 missions you can also always change to Call the Weak and just launch that mission As I said before, I'm simply farming Uthers. I also recommend farming Uthers mostly until you max out your relic tarots, and then you actually start farming items. Because this build doesn't need any high-end best installed items at all. Just random 90 level items will be okay. Simply run the mission, activate inoculator, and just kill enemies. Get some stacks, kill those 2 groups. Just teleport ahead. And I also talked about before about changing to shattering. You can change to shattering in the middle of combat. I can stunlock this one boss, melt his ass. And that's it. Now, before opening chests, I will change to this eye implant for more loot quantity. My other setup, which has also more loot quantity. So I have this now. And now I'm opening chests. Of course, because I prioritize Uthers, I will open this chest. Some nice 15 Uthers. Some a little bit more from the Supreme chest. And whatever else do you need, like if you need psalms or items. But it's very hard to find good items if you are going this tarot route. It's not impossible, like for example I found this neural implant on this exactly on this farming route. So it's not that hard to actually, it can happen always. You don't need to focus on farming relics, because they will drop anyway. So let's go back to the beach. Let's switch my setup to my original setup with Insanity. Let's clean some mess in my stash. Simply roll over if you have any potential upgrades. If you don't see anything interesting, simply sell relics, sell everything else, then just sell all those items. That's exactly what I'm doing all the time, pretty much after every Supreme mission. This gives me tons of materials to reroll and everything. And of course, yeah, 26 Uthers, not bad, not good, just okay. I'm pretty much gaining more seals than Uthers, I don't know why. So let's switch to my normal farming setup. And 3 Neurophins, of course, 3 Neurophins. And let's start again. I will also show you another one mission. The starting road is obvious with the Grimstalker relic path, which is this path, this, and Supreme. That's pretty much it. If you go to the Supreme Grimstalker guide, you will see. Let's launch that one next mission. Show you how to operate this teleport. Don't forget this is an endgame guide. You need to acquire those items first. Not that easy items to acquire. So if you are just starting the game, watch my beginner guides first. They have some basic rules needed to actually make shotgun good in early game. The first mission is purge, so it's a bit longer because I can utilize teleport on purges just as good as on other types of missions. I can't really skip this mission because I need to kill every single enemy. it's still, the teleport is still helps somewhat. And there is no risk of dying on those plus 10, plus 12 missions at all. You will never die on those missions, you are pretty much immortal. Just remember to keep killing stuff. And that's pretty much your HP bar will never move on those missions with this Puritan armor. And that's the mission. So that was the preview of the guide, pretty much. Well, like most of the guide. I will also post the entire Crusade path video later. But you should know exactly everything you need for this build to work right now. So, see you in Martyr and in community Discord. If you have any questions about the build, just message me on Discord, message Judge Dread, and good luck purging. See ya.